Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
Thank you, Veronica.
Yeah. Come. By the way, my headphones don't work.
They don't work at all. Nothing.
You know what? You want to know? I feel like it was 17 years ago when we were doing a show, and we said we should get Veronica new headphones.
Yeah.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, 17 years ago. It's been so long.
Yeah.
18.
Was it 18 years ago?
18? Wow,
years ago.
wow. That's exactly where we're starting the show, by the way, guys.
18
That's
years
right there.
ago, we said that Veronica could get new headphones.
Yeah.
And she hasn't earned them yet.
No.
One day, Veronica, you're going to have slayed enough dragons.
One day, little bird, you're going to fly, and you're going to have some headphones that you can hear us.
In the meantime, I just want you to stay under the weight of our feet.
Yes.
As we push you down and keep you from succeeding. That's what we do here at Biofriendly.
Yep.
We crush not just our enemies, but our friends.
I'm so good. I'd say that could be a tag, but I think that would be really misunderstood by somebody who's just checking out the show. They're like, "What?"
I think they already can't understand what this corn dog Rogers and kerosene guy nonsense is all about.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
What was he even thinking?
Yeah.
We crush what you say.
Crush our friends, or crush our enemies
and our friends under the weight of our feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is Summer Nuggets number 3.
3?
Yeah, we're back in our uniforms.
Wow.
And
it took me an hour to get this on today.
How come?
Well, because I'm not very good at changing.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I tend to put the wrong arm first. I put it inside out, and then I do it backwards.
I've watched you.
And then I put on my belt before I put on my pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. The shoes go on, and then I try to put the pants around them. Yeah. Sometimes I wear gloves and realize I don't know how to wear gloves.
Yeah.
So I have to take them off.
Yeah.
And then I'll put on a hat I didn't need because, as you can see, I don't have a hat in the show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Eventually, an hour later, the clothes do end up in my body, and I come out here and I deliver top quality content.
It's not your fault. We grew up in a time where there were a lot of, like during the 80s and 90s, people were doing weird things with their clothes. So you grew up in a time where there was an entire duo that wore their pants backwards, and that was the style. So you were constantly given messages. Michael Jackson wore one glove.
One sparkly glove.
All these messages that you had growing up, you're like, am I supposed to dress this way?
Yeah.
So of course.
So I did for a minute.
You did.
We were plagued by accessories.
Plagued by accessories.
Didn't you think?
Absolutely. There was a lot of accessories. Slap bracelets, jellies, all the stuff that we had back then.
Headbands, wristbands.
Wristbands, headbands, swatches.
Yeah.
Remember how it was like
a rat tail was cool?
A rat tail. And wasn't it, am I mistaken that the idea of having many watches on an arm?
Yes,
like
people had like six watches of different colors because that was cool.
What the heck, man?
And then the rubber wristbands had their period of time, to say that you're representing Lance Armstrong. Boy, did that backfire.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, those were all the craze there for a while, those rubber bracelets. You still see them from time to time for other causes and whatnot, but the yellow Lance Armstrong bracelet, which worked great.
Yeah, live strong, baby.
Yeah, live strong, baby. Yeah. But if you don't know,
you just do it with enhancements.
Yeah, you do it. That's how you do it. That's how we do it.
That's how we do it. The only genetically enhanced podcast in the environment.
World. We are. If you're not familiar with what Summer Nuggets are, we are.
I have a drinking problem.
Traveling a lot this summer, and so we had to get a bunch of shows in a row. So you're going to notice that the runtime of this is a little bit less than what you're used to. We're just going to try to record as many things as possible so that we have shows for you for the next 5 weeks without any issues. And that's why we're running a little bit on the shorter time.
So they're shorter. So you're seeing a shorter timeline, but don't worry about it. We're bringing you top quality content.
But with that, we're going to the grab bag.
It's compacted.
Yes.
So back to the grab bag, ladies and gentlemen, if you have just tuned in. Jacob has a grab bag full of possible topics to talk about.
Yeah.
He's grabbing them, and then we're either taking them or not taking them. Thus far, we've
taken everyone
with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see what this week's topic is.
Okay, Israel opens first hydrogen fuel station. Meh. Already, we kind of talked about hydrogen fuel. Right? Here, I'll say what it is, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
I'll say what it is. Okay, Sonol, No, not you.
Yeah, no, that's me. What?
Sonol.
Yeah.
Sonol.
Yeah.
Sonol.
Oh, Sonol.
Sonol. This is Sonol.
Oh, Sonol.
This article is Sonol.
Okay.
Sonol,
Sonol.
a company that operates regular petroleum-based fuel stations in Israel, has opened the country's first hydrogen fuel station in Haifa Bay. The world is seeing more and more hydrogen energy breakthroughs, and countries nearby like Saudi Arabia are investing in hydrogen fuel.
We've talked about hydrogen fuel.
We totally did.
We did.
So
congratulations, Sonol.
Sonol is Israel's third largest gas station chain. So pretty cool. They're doing it. They're working on having it says H2 on these trucks and tanks and stuff here. So hydrogen fuel tanks.
It's an indicator that we're moving on to new tech and to different things, which is good. And if they're making that hydrogen the green way, then I would be very happy to see that that's how it's going. And it looks, I mean, hopefully that's the plan.
Yeah.
But as just before we move on to a more interesting topic, for a reminder for those of you who are out there, creating hydrogen can either be done in a very carbon intensive way that requires a whole heck of a lot of energy and does not improve the environment at all.
Right.
Or it can be made by using excess energy from things like windmills and water mills and solar panels that are trickling energy that isn't being used at that moment on the grid, and then that gets poured into an electrolysis system that makes hydrogen, and then boom, bada bing, bada boom, you have hydrogen, and then you can use it. It's like making a battery out of gas.
Do you want to be Hydrogen X or Hydrogen Z?
I'm a Hydrogen Xer. Mm-hmm. I am.
And so you make everything harder unnecessarily so, and you
do.
complain the entire time.
I do, and I'm always talking about the stock market.
Yes. And a Hydrogen Gen Z, that's our children, right? They're Gen Zers.
Hydrogen Z is them, yes.
They're
We're skipping the Hydrogen millennials.
We're not, because it could make it work.
Yeah, they couldn't. We're just kidding.
Yeah.
We love you,
We
millennials.
love you,
It's
millennials.
a joke. We're being the kind of people. It's the competitive thing, right?
I know. It is.
They're,
Gen Xers are
they're right
competitive.
after us. Yeah.
Well, millennials, I actually really like it when people confuse me and they call me an elder millennial. That actually makes me smile because it's literally within a couple of years. It's so close. An elder millennial is like 82, I think. And so I'm like, oh.
My little sister's an elder millennial.
Yeah. So when somebody's like, you're an elder millennial like me, I'm always like, oh,
That's
thank
so
you.
sweet that you think that.
So anyway,
But I'm old enough to be your elder millennial's older brother.
I am. So anyway, the last thing I'll say before we ditch this article, Hyundai enters the hydrogen market in the Middle East. So Hyundai, the car manufacturer, they're jumping in the fray.
That's
So,
good.
Pretty cool.
Look, it's a good thing. I'm glad they're doing it. I think that's awesome. And so Noel, we're so Noel about this.
I'm so Noel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a different topic, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's why, look, when I went digging for this series of nuggets, I was like, these are some of the big title things that are like, these are, yay, good news, good things, right?
Yes.
But I saw some that I was like, okay, we kind of tapped on this before, and maybe all we'll get out of this article is the fact that it's called Sonol.
And that counts.
That
was actually a great opening to it. So Noel.
It was.
So Noel, yes.
Yep. Okay. Oh, well,
right.
Okay. So I have two things about the ocean. So I'm hoping that the other one probably will be the throwaway one. But this one is, I thought it was pretty
Maybe this
cool.
is a throwaway one.
It could be. They could all be throwaway. We could
Let's hope
literally
so.
do the last Summer Nuggets, which we haven't sang the song.
Oh.
Summer Nuggets, having a blast. Summer Nuggets, it's time to podcast. Okay. What do we want to say in the second verse there? So we're
There's a guy who looks like a frog, and he wants to live in a bog.
That's it.
Summer dreams, here are my seams.
And
Please make my pants stay on.
That's it. It's
That's how the
perfect.
song goes today.
Okay, so this article's title is Surfing Has a Dirty Secret. These board riders are cleaning it up.
Okay.
Okay, bro. So this is-
did Bill and Ted just enter the show again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bill and Ted came back.
Bill and Ted's are back. If you guys have been with us for that long, we had a Bill and Ted episode
that was
in
almost-
29.
That was almost 200 years ago. That was like 1840.
Yeah, I think so.
1840.
It's
We
a
had
long
Bill and
time
Ted
ago.
actually entered our.
They did.
From the future. They came into our
time
podcast.
traveled back
Yes.
to tell us that things need to be fixed,
If
or it's
you
going to be
ever-
most unexcellent
If
future.
you want to hear a fantastic podcast, look for
have
the
to.
Bill and Ted podcast.
We
did
committed
a long time
so
ago.
hard to that
Yeah.
bit. We literally dressed in costumes. We did the whole 9 yards. It was amazing. It's
pretty good.
It was pretty good.
We used to try harder. Just kidding. We actually no, I'm kidding.
We still give our all. We're just busy.
We do. We
We're
do.
just
We
really
bring
freaking-
top quality content.
Top quality content for 200 years, and
200 years.
yeah, come on. Synonymous with a lifestyle that's in tune with nature, surfing is not as green as it appears.
I know.
but solutions are on the horizon.
Okay.
Okay? 7 times national surfing champion Lucy Campbell.
Lucy!
Oh, she's so sick. She's so good. Has slammed her sports. She slammed it. She slammed her
Do you know,
sports
only
hidden
in surfing do they slam it?
Totally.
It's like, I'm going to slam my sport.
Slam sport. She slammed her sport's hidden environmental impact and its reliance on boards and wetsuits made from petrochemicals that create tons of waste each year.
Yeah,
She's
yeah. Because have you ever
Lucy's
seen like the big wave surfers?
Yeah.
And they'll put their surfboards on the waves.
Yeah.
And they crack all the time. They lose they lose dozens of surfboards. Like every time.
Totally.
Maybe not every time.
But like
and
a
maybe
lot
not
of
dozens,
times.
but they totally lose.
They do
surfboards.
lose occasionally, every now and then.
Every now and then they
lose a
crack them in
surfboard.
half. It happens all the time.
Yeah. So
that's a waste of
it's a waste
plastic,
of a port
bro.
right there. Okay. So when it comes to wetsuits, we're going to start there.
Okay.
It says this in the article. It says neoprene is the villain.
Yeah.
It's totally the villain.
Yeah.
During manufacturing, the petrochemical fabric releases toxins into the atmosphere that are extremely harmful to humans and to wildlife.
Bogus.
Bogus. It also has one of the longest lifespans of any polymer.
Wow, lives forever.
It lives forever in the worst way.
What?
So,
What if I could be made of polymers?
Polymer so much that it's often used to line landfill sites.
Whoa.
It's so, like, it never deteriorates.
They're like, hey, you know what we should line our landfill site with so nothing can get out because it'll
Wetsuits.
never go away?
Wetsuits.
Wetsuits!
You go to a freaking landfill and it's just body glove, just like
All around the outside.
All around. There's like, just fill it in the body glove hole. over there.
It looks like a surfer's graveyard.
Yeah, so the industry is responding to the demand for greener products and designing a new generation of surfing gear made from natural or recycled materials. At the front of this is Patagonia. So if you buy Patagonia stuff, it says they're the first surf company to remove neoprene from its range when developed a natural rubber alternative called Ulex.
Ulex!
Y-U-L-E-X. Ulex.
Ulex.
It sounds like it kind of sounds like a slang that a young person would say for like somebody who walks really cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like Ulex.
Ulex, bro.
So that rubber is made from.
Hey, bro, you want to go for a Lex down the beach?
You want to Ulex?
Yeah,
down the,
Ulex, I'll Lex.
Ulex, Ilex, we Lex together.
Lex together.
This stuff Ulex is made from Hevea trees.
Oh, cool.
Hevea trees in a zero waste production process that requires 10 times less water and reduces CO2 emissions by up to 80%. That's pretty rad.
That is an incredible accomplishment. It really is. That's a
Absolutely.
big deal.
Yeah. So that's a great positive win right there about the neoprene wetsuits and the fact that Patagonia is making Ulex. And they're going to be good. But let's talk about the surfboards. Let's
do
get to
it.
the surfboards.
Let's do it. What was that thing about Cornwall, though?
Oh, right here.
Yeah, man.
Cornwall-based surfing brand Finisterre.
Yeah.
Finisterre.
Yeah.
Whose tagline is "Sustainability as Standard." Was one of the first. Well, this is in UK, so I got to go. Cornwall-based surfing brand Finisterre.
No, you've got to go UK, but some UK with a surfer boy accent.
Oh, that's right.
So that's got to find the way to put the accent of the surfer boy in the UK, and then
right.
you're there, mate.
All right, so it's whose tagline is "Sustainability as a
Yeah.
Standard."
Right.
It was one of the first UK companies to start using it.
Oh, mate.
Well, its founder, Tom Kay, told Positive News that longevity is another issue with surfing gear.
What?
A good neoprene wetsuit lasts only 2 years, mate.
2 years, mate. It's barely the time at all, mate.
He said, there's no end of life solution,
No.
and the whole industry is built on this model. Right, it's bogus.
Cornish surfers, mate.
Yeah, I don't think I'm doing a good British
Oh, you're
accent.
great. No, because it's a surfer British accent, mate. You got to go all the way in. Whoa.
Oh, you got to really give it. Consequently,
Consequently, bro.
Some 8,380 tons of neoprene wetsuits end up in landfill each year.
Even in the UK.
Even in the UK.
What?
To tackle this, Finisterre has a service that enables customers to send back items for repair. 1,200 products were repaired in 2022, as well as an end-of-life service that recycles wetsuits into new ones.
That's pretty cool.
So cool.
That's pretty cool. And they're Cornish, which is really
Cornish.
the whole reason I wanted you to read it. Is
You
because
want me to read it 'cause of Cornish?
It's Cornwall.
Cornwall.
And I love the Cornish things are the best.
And Cornish people...
I'm a fan of the corns.
Yeah, you get corny for Cornish people. Surfboards can be equally polluting. One polyurethane board covered with epoxy resins and transported across the world could produce the equivalent of 250 kilograms of carbon dioxide, according to a study by the University of California. So Predn Surf Co., also based in Cornwall, is one of a host of startups committed.
Get the accent right.
So sorry. Okay.
Just kidding.
So sorry. Here we go. I'll just let you react as a Cornish server. Okay.
Of course. Yeah,
Predn Surf Co., also based in Cornwall, is one of the host of startups committed to reducing the footprint of the surfboards.
All right, mate.
Established in 2017 with a mission to make the perfect eco-friendly board, theirs is made from a wood and bio-based resin at a small workshop that's powered by an on-site wind turbine.
There's nothing like surfing on wood, mate.
That's right. Combining craftsmanship with repairability, the boards are built to last.
I love it.
So these guys are making some really, really cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. It was just a cool article that I was like, here's this Lucy Campbell, awesome surfer, award-winning, amazing. And she's
champion.
like, she's just like...
7-time champion.
Yeah, she's like, I gotta fix this because everybody's all cheering us on. And surfers are notoriously like
care about the
environmentalists.
environment. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because they're all about being in the ocean all the time.
They have a similar bug to what I do.
Yeah,
right. Like
absolutely.
It's very much about the ocean because you can see it when you spend a lot of time in the ocean. You see it.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the few places where it's very obvious where the pollution it's you literally walk in it. It's around you.
Yeah.
And I think that if there was a bit more of that in people's lives, they would probably do more about it than we currently are. Am I vibrating?
I think that's you.
I fixed it.
There you did. You solved it.
I've solved it.
Anyway, you're right. Absolutely. They're the ones who have a real heart for it the majority of the time. And so it's exciting to hear that surfers and people involved in the industry are like, hey, we can fix this now. Like we've figured out alternatives to the boards and to the neoprene suits that cannot last forever and not be polluting or putting things in the ocean. And that's just a good thing.
I would love to get a surfer on the show to talk
Yes.
about the difference in quality too, because that's often the biggest problem when you're transitioning out of petrochemical based stuff, the plastics that we have and the rubbers that we currently have, is that the replacements aren't usually because we haven't spent as much time and money perfecting them. They're not usually as good. Yeah. And so you end up, maybe you can't surf as well if the board isn't as good, or maybe you get really cold when you're surfing in cold weather because the wetsuit's no good. Yeah. Or maybe the wetsuit's too heavy, or maybe the board's too heavy, or like there's things like that you don't factor in. And I would love to know how they compare. Like, are they pretty close?
100%.
Are they as good? Are they better? Maybe I don't know. I tend to doubt that just because usually you need time and money to make the things great. I think you're right. But what's rad is that stuff is happening about it. Yes, absolutely. And I think that you're right that the science and the techs. He threw his coaster. The science and the tech that is developed towards something being able to make you buoyant in the water or streamlined on the ocean, when they're not factoring into if it's good or not for the environment. You have so many tools at your disposal to make it the sleekest, the fastest, the most water, non-absorbing and whatnot. But once you take a lot of those things out, it gets more challenging. So you're right. It's like for these surfers, they're going to have to relearn possibly how to use these things. Yeah, possibly, or they just got to keep making them better, keep improving, right? Yeah. Because I'm going to give you an example. Okay, give me one. Okay, in golf. Yes. You have all of these different clubs, right? Uh-huh. So the clubs that look like they're made of metal, they call them irons. Right. Because literally, when golf first started, in the freaking 1600s in Scotland, they were made of iron. Really? Heavy, ridiculous. That sounds really hard to wield, although they were swinging swords back then. Yeah, so and it's golf. It's supposed to be hard. Yeah. So they were made of iron. Yeah. And then their long clubs are called woods. The ones that have the big old heavy heads used to literally be made of wood. That's why they called them woods and irons. Mm. Okay? Neither one of those is very efficient when you're saying, I want to have the best possible thing to do this thing that I'm doing. Right. The concept of I need to have the best possible thing to do the thing I'm doing happened after we got to the point where there was excess in some places. Yeah. Right? Where you now had an excess of time where you could have a professional league of people who just golf all the time and make millions. Right. Can you think about how ridiculous that would be in the 1200s? Yeah. Right. Right. About what you think when survival depends upon you every day. Yeah. Just doing things to stay alive, to kill things and eat things or farm things or whatever. the idea of being a professional basketball player, of being a professional actor, of being that was like they would just throw you off the cliff, and then nobody would care because there was no press. Or if there was, it was owned by the king. So that just didn't. That's something we get now because we've improved the quality of life in general. Not everywhere. We can talk about Africa and Southeast Asia and other spots, but generally, the quality of life has been improved so much that you have time to make leisure things a career. Right. Where philosophy can become a career. Right. Where like you can focus on arts and sports and other things. Okay. Yeah. So surfing is not something that would have existed a long time ago. I mean, there were people in Hawaii, I think, who did it, like the Polynesians did it for fun and then made very crude boards to get it done, right? But that's something that now is competitive and great, and lots of people do it. So the idea at first was, like in golf, I don't care what it costs. I don't care what you're using. I'm trying to win. Right. Give me the best possible
thing to win.
Use whatever it takes to get me the best possible. Yeah. And so you now have golf clubs that are made of titanium. Right. They're super light and super strong, and they weigh nothing. Yeah. And you swing them and the ball flies. And now the golfers from the old days would never dream of some of the drives that these golfers can hit now. Right? Yeah. So same with surfing. The surfboards are incredible. The wetsuits are incredible. They all work perfectly because they've been designed to do that. Yeah. When that happens, you make mistakes and you damage the planet. You damage the environment. You do things that you have your unintended consequences. Right. So what we're dealing with now in our generation that we have to stop being angry about and start just understanding that that's our responsibility today is we are having to correct the concept of make the perfect thing. Right. And turn it into make the perfect thing with better stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That's just something we're all going to have to live with. The upside of that is we can communicate to each other in a split second with a phone. The upside to it is we can travel at high speeds to lots of places. We can go anywhere in the world. There's a lot of upsides to how we live now and where we are. The downside to how we live now and where we are is that it is our responsibility now. And we can say, screw you forefathers for doing this. I hate you, grandpa, because you drove the train. I don't, whatever. They did that because that's what you had to do. They did that because that's where things were. Today, we're here. Yeah. And our job now is to find a way to be able to keep doing these things we enjoy doing, to keep making this life that we have created continue on, but to do it better so that our kids can still live here and still enjoy this stuff. And then they can then hopefully take it on to a totally different place that's even better than that. It's just where we are. Well said. In the old days, they had to make sure they didn't die from a lion. Exactly. We don't have to do that.
We don't have to do that anymore.
So that's our upside.
Exactly.
Downside is maybe the surfboard will be a little heavier.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little heavier. Maybe you have to learn how to surf a different way or a style, or there's just something to learn. I mean, it's the same with our food. You hit the nail on the head. It's like we learned how to be really efficient and get everything done really quickly, but it was all short-sighted, and that's humanity's problem. It was kind of like looking at the immediate, like what's right in front of you, and not looking far ahead. And we're getting better at that.
I just think that we didn't realize it. We're like, we want to make the best thing. Yeah. So now.
So now we are
have
a generation.
To make it even better.
Yes. We're a generation of people, and the generations that are coming after us are going to be making decisions on, is this, I mean, that's what the word sustainable is. If you hear that kicked around all the time, it's just, can we sustain this thing? You look at fast food, and they've realized we cannot sustain this thing. You look at the materials being used, they go, we cannot sustain this thing. Yeah, so the whole effort is, how do we sustain? Having our energy stored in oil,
you talk about energy efficiency, energy density, the ability to quickly create energy. It's lightning. It's wonderful. Yeah. Man, oil is good for that. Yeah. But it's not something we can keep doing.
Yeah. And so that's the core is these buzzwords, these green buzzwords. You hear sustainable on this, sustainable on that. That's all it is. It's like we got to be able to keep doing what we want to do. So how can we do it? How can we play golf? How can we surf? How can we eat? How can we play? How can we do all these things? And the only way to do it is if you find a way that it doesn't completely eat away at every single thing we have left.
How can we touch butts sustainably?
We're doing it right now.
I know.
That's the best way to come out. We're going out right there. Don't forget to subscribe, share, tell everybody you know about the Biofriendly Podcast because we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Bringing you top quality content since 1823.
Science without the stiffness.
Green without the groaning.
Inspiring fear and love.
Wait, no, I know this.
You know this one?
I know this one. This show is about patience.
Yes. Careful. You'll catch feelings.
Corn Dog Rogers and Kerosene Guy have been having an epic battle in my head for generations, something like that.
That is good enough. That's the best. Hey! Unprompted, he got through the main two characters. Corn Dog Rogers and Kerosene Guy.
Yes, tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your enemies.
Friends. Tell your enemies.
Tell
we'll
everybody.
We'll make them become your friends.
Yeah,
we will turn enemies into friends.
We will turn enemies into... That's a tag.
Which one?
We will turn enemies into friends.
Okay.
But I think that's a great thing. It's like, we're going to turn your enemies into friends.
Yeah.
We'll turn your enemies into
Turn
friends.
your enemies into friends.
I love it.
Turn your enemies into
Yeah, I'll say it after you say Corn Dog Rogers or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If it lasts, then we'll
No,
do it.
it's a good tag.
I like that.
I'm just laughing that we still have Corn Dog Rogers
Of
and
course.
Kerosene Guy.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
And
Veronica.
Veronica says...
She's got us.
Stop and smell the flowers.
Oh, it was bloody lovely when they
Oh,
were
so bloody lovely.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.